In fact, just to add on to that, Sean, I definitely believe in this concept of something called a social proof. Now,
Yes.
what is social proof? It's all about, once I Google you online, what does the algorithm tell me about you? Now, the
Yes.
moment I just Google about you, I can see this plethora of content about Cali barbecue. It sets you apart from a lot of people, whom if you just Google online, there's nothing else, right? And that's the
There's
beauty of
nothing.
it.
Correct.
And I always believe in this saying called perception beats reality.
Yes.
And when we talk about perception based reality, once you need to, once I search you online and I get that affinity that yes, this brand is talked about, they're doing so much of stuff, it induces me to order from you. The
Correct.
second thing, of course, would be about your taste, about your quality, and so on and so forth. But the first thing is to induce a customer and build that element of FOMO, a fear of missing out. That
Yeah.
if I'm not trying from this person or that, or the said restaurant, I'm missing out big time. The second thing, which I think you really mentioned beautifully, I think you mentioned about a lot of people have that fear of not getting started. How do I start? How do I go about, typically creating content? Because somewhere or the other, what used to be a frivolous activity 4 years, 5 years back, posting on a Facebook post, or probably, posting on Instagram, used to be a frivolous activity. Today,
Yes.
it's called, it's glamorously, in a very glamorous term called content creation or content creators of sorts.
You're
But
very right. It used to be a frivolous activity, and now people are starting to wake up and go, oh, wait, my business actually should be on Facebook.
absolutely, absolutely. And and one of the best things, I have learned and if you see, that's something I'm practicing. My words are where my money is. Typically, I always say, where it's not about to have the best content, the best video, and the best graphics. Sometimes quantity overpass quality.
Yes.
Because if you create and put out great quantity of content, somewhere or the other, people who resonate with your content, start reaching out to you. And
Correct.
that's one of the best learnings I've taken from my podcast, Catering Success Podcast. I think nobody was looking at that or that on that niche of catering as such. We leveraged upon that, and I had people reaching out to me from Poland, from Warsaw, from Tokyo. I'm just taken aback. How's that possible? But that's
Yes.
the beauty of it. If someone resonates and someone is in the same business, wants to just learn hardcore content, he does not care about the quality of editing, but he cares about the content, and that's the
Yes.
beauty of it. And that's what one of the most prolific speakers on personal branding says, Gary Vaynerchuk. I think
Yes.
he's actually inspired a generation in India. And I think if I owe something to him, then that's the wine library, what he had set up. So just I can just
100%.
share that from that anecdote.
Yeah, no, at 100%. The thing for me with Gary Vaynerchuk was I've been running our barbecue business, and I got a magazine, Entrepreneur Magazine, and on the cover was Gary Vaynerchuk. And usually I go through the magazine. This was one of the first, cover titles that I actually read. And as I was reading it, it was an entrepreneur and a businessman for the first time that was talking about social media as exactly what you said, social proof of business. He was literally doing what I had learned in Spring Valley with our own business through Facebook, through Yelp, through Twitter, through LinkedIn, all of these tools, these free tools of the internet where I was producing content. He was doing it at a much larger scale. But I said, wow, like, why aren't other people doing this? And that was the year that we launched our podcast. He started creating content about being a media company. That resonated with me because we already were a media company. Cali BBQ Media, it was the natural progression. And it's what anybody that's listening to this podcast, I encourage you to do, is that you are your own media company. Somebody needs to give you permission. This is the permission. You're your own media company. You don't need to file any paperwork. Literally, you just need to start creating content. And I love what you said about the social proof and the Googling.